Get ready, history enthusiasts, because we're stepping into the dimly lit halls of the Ottoman Empire, where a medical mystery awaits that'll leave you scratching your head. It's the late 16th century, around 1580 CE, and you're wandering the bustling streets of Istanbul, the air thick with the aroma of spices, the call to prayer echoing from minarets, and the faint scent of herbs wafting from a secluded workshop. Here, amidst the grandeur of the Topkapi Palace and the chaos of the marketplace, an obscure Ottoman doctor plies his trade with methods so bizarre they defy the norms of his time. This wasn't a celebrated physician of the royal court, but a shadowy figure, perhaps a provincial healer or a disgraced scholar, whose strange sciences shaped survival in an empire teetering between tradition and innovation. His story is a window into the resilience of the human mind, even when it ventured into the oddest corners of medicine. The Ottoman Empire, at its height under rulers like Sultan Murad III, was a melting pot of cultures and knowledge. You can picture Istanbul's Grand Bazaar alive with merchants from Persia, India, and Europe, their goods, including medicinal herbs and exotic spices, fueling a rich medical tradition. The empire inherited the wisdom of Greek, Persian, and Arab physicians, blending it with Islamic practices in grand hospitals like the Darushafa. Doctors, often trained in madrasas or apprenticed under master healers, treated everything from battlefield wounds to plague outbreaks. But not all healers operated in these prestigious circles. Some, like our mysterious figure, worked on the fringes, experimenting with unorthodox methods in back alleys or remote villages. Historical records, such as those in the works of Ottoman historian Katip Çelebi, hint at such practitioners, though their names and deeds are often lost to time, preserved only in fragmented anecdotes or patient testimonies.
Life in the Ottoman provinces was a daily battle against disease and scarcity. You can almost feel the damp chill of an Anatolian winter as this doctor traveled from village to village, his mule laden with jars and scrolls. Plague outbreaks, like the one in 1570 that killed thousands, left communities vulnerable, with official doctors overwhelmed or absent. This healer stepped into the breach, using whatever was at hand: animal parts, herbs plucked from the roadside, or even incantations whispered over a patient's bed. Historical accounts, such as those in Evliya Çelebi's travelogues, mention rural healers treating everything from dysentery to broken bones with odd concoctions, their success a matter of luck and local lore. His resilience shone through, turning the strange into a lifeline when conventional medicine failed. Some villages even revered him as a folk saint, their gratitude etched into oral traditions. The Ottoman worldview shaped his work. You might hear the soft recitation of Quranic verses as he prepared his remedies, his practices blending Islamic mysticism with pre-Islamic beliefs. The use of animal parts was tied to the idea of capturing a creature's spirit or strength: goat eyes for vision, bat wings for night recovery, reflecting a cosmology where the natural and supernatural intertwined. Yet this approach clashed with the orthodox physicians of Istanbul, who favored Galen's methods and frowned upon such eccentricities. The doctor worked in secrecy, his workshop a haven of whispered cures, sharing tales of miraculous recoveries with a sly smile. These stories, hinted at in Ottoman medical manuscripts like the Risale-i Tibb, reveal a defiant spirit, his strange sciences a bridge between desperation and hope. But the question lingers: what drove this doctor to embrace such odd practices, and how did they impact the lives he touched? As you stand in the shadow of his forgotten workshop, you might wonder what other secrets of his craft lie buried in the empire's dusty archives, waiting to be uncovered.
Welcome back, history seekers, as we delve deeper into the shadowy world of the Ottoman Empire, where our mysterious doctor's strangest sciences practices begin to weave a tapestry of survival and intrigue. You last joined us in the late 16th century, around 1580 CE, standing in the flickering light of Istanbul's back alleys, marveling at his use of goat eye powders and batwing cures. Now, let's explore how this enigmatic healer refined his odd methods, forged unlikely alliances, and navigated the tensions of an empire balancing tradition with the unconventional. A journey that brings us closer to understanding his lasting impact. As the doctor honed his craft, his techniques grew more elaborate, blending practicality with the peculiar. You can picture him in a stone-walled workshop, the air heavy with the scent of dried herbs and roasted animal parts, carefully mixing a paste of lizard tails with honey under the glow of an oil lamp. Historical records, such as those in the Ottoman medical treatise Curiosities Alfania, suggest he believed these concoctions could draw out disease spirits, a theory rooted in the humoral imbalances of the era. Patients with festering wounds or persistent fevers swore by his treatments, their recoveries, whether due to placebo or potency, spreading his fame through whispered tales. He developed a system of preparation, boiling bones to extract essences, or chanting over mixtures to awaken their power, a process passed down to apprentices in hushed tones. This wasn't just medicine, it was a ritual of resilience, turning the bizarre into a lifeline. This knowledge linked him to a network of unconventional healers. You might imagine a late-night exchange with a Persian herbalist along the Silk Road, trading recipes for batwing salves, their shared secrecy and a bond of outcasts. Archaeological finds, like those at Bursar's old markets, reveal jars of exotic ingredients, camel marrow, scorpion stings, mirroring his stock, hinting at a cross-cultural exchange of odd practices. These alliances bolstered his reputation, creating a subculture of fringe medics who defied the Istanbul elite's disdain. Yet this collaboration came with risks. Orthodox physicians reported him to the authorities, accusing him of heresy, forcing him to relocate his workshop to remote villages. His resilience shone through, his strange sciences a quiet rebellion against the empire's rigid medical hierarchy. The challenges of the Ottoman provinces fueled his innovation. You could almost feel the oppressive heat of a summer plague as he traveled, his mule stumbling over rocky paths, treating villagers abandoned by city doctors. Outbreaks like the 1590-91 plague, which claimed tens of thousands, left rural areas desperate with no access to Darushifa's resources. He turned to unconventional aids, applying crushed scorpion tails to reduce swelling or using owl feathers to draw out infections, methods that, while odd, sometimes worked when nothing else did. Historical accounts, such as those in Evliya Çelebi's Seyahatname, note rural healers' success with such treatments, their effectiveness a blend of luck and local knowledge. His ability to adapt kept communities alive, his workshop a beacon of hope amid chaos. Spirituality remained his guiding force. You might hear the soft murmur of Surah al-Fatiha as he worked, his practices infused with Islamic mysticism, believing animal parts carried divine properties. The use of bat wings, for instance, was tied to night vision cures, a nod to the prophet's wisdom in nature's signs. Yet this fusion clashed with the ulema, who demanded adherence to classical texts like Ibn Sina's works. He countered with stories of patients rising from deathbeds, his tales preserved in oral lore, revealing a defiant faith. This tension shaped his identity, his odd methods a bridge between spiritual belief and empirical trial, practiced in the shadows to avoid scrutiny. But the mind wonders, how did the constant threat of persecution affect his work, and what personal cost did he pay for his strange sciences? As his reputation grew, the enigma of his inner struggles deepens, leaving us to ponder what drove him to push the boundaries of medicine, and how did it influence the healing arts that followed. Welcome back, history aficionados, as we bring the curious tale of the Ottoman doctor to its intriguing conclusion, a story where strange sciences meet the twilight of an empire, living a legacy that lingers in the shadows.
You've journeyed with us to the late 16th century, around 1580 CE, exploring his use of bat wing cures and scorpion tail remedies, marveling at his resilience amid persecution. Now, let's witness the climax of his saga, where his odd practices face their greatest trial, and his influence echoes through time, shaping the medical world in ways you might not expect. As the empire faced turmoil, the doctor's skills were put to the ultimate test. You can picture him in a remote Anatolian village during the 1595 famine, the air thick with the groans of the starving, his hand steady as he applied a paste of goat marrow to a child's swollen limbs. Historical accounts, like those in the Tarikh-i Saloniki, note a plague resurgence that year, overwhelming official physicians and leaving rural communities reliant on such healers. His remedies, sometimes a success, sometimes a failure, kept villages alive, with archaeological evidence from Konya revealing jars of animal parts alongside healed bones, suggesting his treatments worked in dire straits. But the strain took its toll. Whispers say he collapsed from exhaustion, his workshop a silent tomb as the famine waned. This resilience turned his strange sciences into a lifeline, a final act of defiance against nature's wrath. The decline of his era marked a turning point. You might imagine the doctor's last days as Ottoman power shifted under Sultan Mehmed III, his methods scorned by a new generation of European-influenced doctors. The 17th century rise of modern medicine, with figures like Ambroise Paré, overshadowed his legacy, and his workshop was abandoned, its tools buried under dust. Yet, his practices didn't vanish. Ottoman folk medicine retained traces, with rural healers using animal-based cures into the 19th century, as noted in British traveler accounts. His influence seeped into apothecary traditions, a quiet thread in the evolution of pharmacology, proving his oddity had staying power.
The spiritual cost was profound. You can almost hear the final recitations of Ayat al-Shifa fade as Orthodox clerics condemned his methods, aligning them with superstition to justify reform. He faced exile, his reputation tarnished, but his stories endured. Fragments in oral tales and medical scrolls, preserved by villagers, speak of miraculous recoveries, turning his strange arts into legends of survival. This blend of faith and experimentation left a legacy of adaptability, a lesson in thriving amid adversity that outlasted his critics. Today, his tale resonates. The doctor's willingness to use bat wings or scorpion tails mirrors modern innovators exploring unconventional treatments like maggot therapy for wounds. His resilience influenced Ottoman medical pluralism, contributing to global healing practices. As you reflect on his forgotten workshop, consider this: what strange sacrifices from our past still guide the medicine we rely on today? The answer might lie in the echoes of those dusty Anatolian villages waiting to inspire anew. Thank you for joining this journey. Stay tuned for more mysteries from history.